Hi everybody, welcome back to the Arma 3 editor, Eden, and my series of videos about how you can make DayZ themed missions for Arma 3 using the Ravage mod. So in the previous videos I showed you how to set up Ravage, and then we've added ourselves and some AI teammates to help us, and we've added a jeep full of goodies so to aid in our zombie bashing shenanigans. But let's now look at how we can add some proper enemy soldiers, not just ambient enemy soldiers that will pop up, but proper squads and vehicles and helicopters to make our life a little bit more difficult. So if we press M, and what we'll do is we'll come away from the coast and we'll go up to the northwest airfield here, and let's just put our camera here like that, and just make sure we're in the right place. Right, so let's have a look up here at our assets. So we know we're blue 4, we're NATO, so any enemies are going to be, we're probably going to use op 4, which is CSAT, or CSTAT I think they're called in the game. And you'll see underneath we've got loads of different things we can use. I'm not sure if I mentioned this in the last video as well, but not only can you place individual soldiers or vehicles and stuff, but if you go to compositions you can place squads of soldiers. So let's say we wanted to put an individual soldier down here. We would go down to men, and let's put down an auto rifleman, say for example like that. Let's get a bit closer so you have a better view of him. And then we could put down, say, a medic with him. And now if he's close, they're going to be part of the same squad. See, like that. And let's put down, say, a grenadier with him. So they're all part of the same squad. Now for each of these individual soldiers, we can right click on their little blot thing, go into their loadout, and we could change, you know, what they look like, what they're carrying, what weapons they've got, all that sort of stuff, which is cool. And we can also, if we do the same thing, we can go in and we could adjust their attributes. So we could change their skill. The AI in Arma 3 are really good shots, so there's nothing wrong with changing their skill. They're still pretty good shots when they're down this low, but they're less likely to detect you. I think you could reduce their health so they're easier to kill. You could change their stance when they're starting off. You could change their name, all that sort of stuff. So that's pretty good. So he's sitting down now. Now, because we've linked these guys together as a squad, or the other thing you could do is you could go to compositions, and you could go to infantry, and you could just drag in a whole fire team there. So there's a fire team of soldiers. They're automatically as a squad. Let's move them over there a little bit. Now, if you just were to save this, you know, and then you could export it to single player and use it as your mission. These guys would just kind of stand there until something happened. A zombie would come along and they'd start shooting at them, or you would come along and they'd start shooting at you. But where the things get very, very interesting is when you make them move around. So if we go to the map view, so we scroll in a bit. So there's our squad and there's our fire team. What we can do is if we select the squad by pressing on that little square, then go over to waypoints. But there's lots of different waypoints, and you can watch lots of different videos about how they work, but the basic one is move. So what we do is we can grab a move waypoint and grab it onto the map. And we can grab another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. And then if we add a cycle waypoint at the end, that will make them repeat what they're doing. So let's go up to these fellas here, and let's select them. And let's go move. Ooh, that one there. So move, 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 cycle. So now if we just go play, spectate in single player, this will load us in where these guys are, because we don't want to load our NATO guys in near them because they'll start shooting each other, and we can just kind of see what happens. So there we go. Those guys are moving off in that direction. These guys are moving off in that direction. Oh, look, they're kind of... he's doing something there. I think he's healing his teammate. Oh, it's because I reduced his health. He's actually healing his teammate to bring him up to full health. And there they go. And they're running around the map. And you can play with the settings so they, walk slowly if you like. So now you might be thinking, ooh, that's quite interesting, that. Because you can imagine what you could do, say at Northwest Airfield, if you went to your systems and went to your Ravage modules and did a safe zone or a zombie blacklist area and created a zombie safe zone completely around the airfield, instead of having ambient zombies wandering around in this particular area, or ambient AI, you could just have enemy proper soldiers patrolling it, because if proper enemy soldiers are there in force, they're not going to put up with zombies being there, are they? They'll have killed them all, So that's infantry. So let's go to the other end of the airfield. Let's do some other stuff. Go here. Let's just... I'm having trouble making this camera turn around. Let's just plonk that down first. Press shift. There we go. Press shift. Okay. Now what we're going to do here is we are going to go to objects, op4, and we're going to spawn in a tank. Now make sure it says place vehicles with crew. So we're going to put a tank, a Vasuk there. Right, let's turn him around so he's facing the other way. And then how about this? We're going to spawn in a helicopter. So let's spawn in the gunship, and we'll spawn him in there. Let's turn him around. And now remember, op4 are enemies of blue 4. So if they come across each other, they will shoot each other. So you should also now be thinking, wait a minute, I could set up little war games, can't I? Yes, you could. So let's go to the waypoint, and let's have the tank selected. And let's give him a move command. And then another one there, and then another one there, and then another one there, then another one there, and then let's give him a cycle command so he repeats it. Now the helicopters, your move command has got to be quite a way away, otherwise they won't do it. They don't bother taking off unless they've got a long way to go. So let's select the helicopter. There we go. And let's give him a move command. Let's move him a long way away, like that. And what you can do with helicopters as well is you can give them the loiter command as well. So that means it will just be fly around. So now if we go play spectate in single player, let's see what happens. If your helicopters won't take off, it's normally because you haven't put that first initial command far enough away. Right, so there goes our tank off on his patrol. The engine's firing up on the helicopter. There he goes. Now remember, they will engage enemies. They will engage you. They will engage zombies. Any non-friendlies. So he'll fly off. Our soldiers at the other end of the airfield, meanwhile, are wandering around. Now he's going to start loitering. So basically that means flying around the airfield. And you can give him a land command. All sorts of stuff. Meanwhile, there's our tank wandering around. There goes our helicopter. Right, so let's get back to the editor. So again, your imagination is probably firing away quite strongly now, and you're thinking, "Whoa, wait a minute!" So you can create scenarios. If you are a fan, for example, of Hitman or the Sniper Elite missions. You could see how you could create scenarios with patrols of soldiers or vehicles or helicopters, or you can even do this with jets. I haven't showed you, but you could make a jet take off and fly around. All of this stuff can kind of enable you to create these single player or multiplayer, but we're talking about single player scenarios where other stuff is going on. And you can create whole battles as well, because obviously we've spawned in enemy soldiers here, but you can spawn in friendly soldiers and they will fight each other. So there we go. So you would go back to the Eden editor, and and then you want to obviously save it, and then just start thinking about the sort of stuff, mate. And if you finish, obviously you could export it as a single player mission and it'll appear in your scenarios. Cool, so hopefully that's been helpful. If it has been, hit like. Remember, the links to the other videos in this series are in the description below this video. And I'll see you again soon.